I don't believe I'm saying this, but we're watching a Dantes video.
League of Legends right now is in the most balanced state it's ever been. And it's precisely because of that reason that it is also the most unfun to play that it's ever been.
Called it! Fucking called it. The game is not fun. Plus, not to mention all of the bullshit chat restrictions.
If you don't agree with that statement...
Okay, so it's a rage-based video. No. I guess it's not a rage-based video. I guess we will find out. One of the comments under my 1 hour rant video about League of Legends, there was a comment saying that Dantes made a couple of videos talking about specific issues with League of Legends, especially how the game is not fun. So, I guess this is what we're looking at.
Right now, then by the end of this video, you probably will. For years now, the League of Legends community has talked about balance. A lot of people think that when a game is more balanced, by proxy it becomes a lot more fun to play because games feel more fair. But
yeah, but they also become more stale and they become slightly more boring. Like, bro, take an example from Season 3, when we had such lovely item as DFG. Like, dog, anyone building DFG was straight up broken. So naturally, everyone was building DFG, right? Every single AP champion was building DFG. And when everything is broken, nothing is broken.
In order to really understand this, let's think for a second about how League of Legends truly works. League of Legends is a 5v5 where in a perfect world, every single player on every single team will have a 20% impact on the outcome of the game. And while League of Legends players may think they want this, the truth is that they don't. In order to truly understand the content of this video, we first need to go over one very important thing. What makes League of Legends a fun to play game? For some, it might be the exploration of new champs. For others, the exploration of new builds. And for others, maybe even the exploration of new roles. Some might say that they like playing with their...
Or just straight up having fun with degenerate builds. Like, I guess I'm falling into category number 2 with trying to pick a build and having the reaction out of it. I feel like this is what I'm falling into.
Friends, while others might say that they enjoy playing on their own. But the truth is...
The reason why Marvel Rivals is fun is because all of the characters are giga broken and I love it. Exactly. Simple as that. If everything is broken, nothing is broken. Plus... everything being broken makes the game fun, especially when you're doing the broken things. When those broken things happen to you, technically, you're not happy with it, but also, on the same note, you cannot complain. Because, dog, if you know that they have that broken ability, why don't you play that character with the broken ability? And you do the broken shit yourself, you know? This is the argument I always have when I'm getting solo ulted by fucking Winter Soldier. Like, out of nowhere, my guy gets a fucking 500 shield out of nowhere. He yells, "Again!" And you're getting clapped. And you're getting clapped. Then you see on the scoreboard that you are dead. Then you hear him, "Again!" Another one dead. 5 seconds later, "Again!" Your entire team is dead. And the saddest part is that whenever you're going to the shop, you have PTSD, bro. You're going to shop, you're going to buy milk, you hear, "Again!" Guess who? Fucking Winter Soldier is there.
That the one thing that will unilaterally unite all of these people together is their impact on the game. People just want to be able to impact the games and showcase their level of skill compared to others. And it is this process that makes League of Legends fun. It is the fact that you can be able to single-handedly influence the destinies of 9 other players.
Yep, that was one of the fun aspects in League of Legends when there was an actual 1v9 potential in the game. The balance removed it. Granted, you cannot win the game 1v9, but you can definitely lose the game 1v9. When you are balancing out this shit out, maybe balance the thing where you cannot lose the game 1v9. Maybe if we're going to commit fully to balance, then fully commit to it.
Simply due to the fact that you are either that much better or that much worse. Yep. And it is because of that right now League of Legends is in the most unfun state it's ever been. You see, when you're playing a League of Legends game, there are 2 types of fantasies that you can go after. The first is to be the solo warrior, the lone wolf, completely 1v9ing every game and being able to overcome all odds in pursuit of attaining a higher rank and exploding the enemy nexus.
This is the reason why mid lane is the most popular role. Because the 1v9 king is the faker. Everyone wants to be the next faker. Swear to God, go to League of Legends if you still have it on your PC, right? Go to League of Legends, go to solo queue. Queue up as mid lane your primary focus. Check the queue time. Tell me that mid lane is not the most popular role. Dog, everyone wants to be the mid laner. Everyone wants to be the main character.
And the other one is playing into the fact that League of Legends is a team game. It's the fact that you can coordinate with 4 other players, create plays, and just go for things together that allow you to win games through the use of strategic playmaking.
But this only works in higher elos. I'm talking about Diamond Plus. Anything below Diamond Plus, last time I checked, there is no team. I know it, you know it, everyone knows it.
And the problem right now is that the game direction of League of Legends tries to fulfill both of these without being able to actually satisfy either of them. So in order to truly grasp this, let's go back to mythic items.
Unpopular opinion. Initially everyone thought they were dog shit, but with their removal, maybe they weren't so bad. Maybe we judged them too harshly. Like, dog, give me my Duskblade back. Give me my Night Harvester. Give me a Rift Maker. These items made the game slightly more fun than it is right now.
As we all know, when
had more variety with the mythic items than they do with legendaries only. Yeah. Also, on the subject of fun, you know what was fun? I'm still not entirely sure why Riot did that, but remember the day, those times when you could be building the same item 6 times? You want to open a shoe shop, you open Mundo's shoe shop. You have 6 different boots in your inventory. You want to play 6 Black Cleaver brand, you go for it. 6 Black Cleaver brand is OP. He will fucking stomp you. 4 Infinity Edges on Garen was fucking amazing. 6 Death Caps Veigar was truly scary. Why did they remove that? I have no idea.
Mythic items were in the game a few years ago, everybody was in an uproar. People cried about how Kraken Sir was too imbalanced. Duskblade would allow you to 1v5.
And that was the most fun. Unironically, that was the most fun I had in League of Legends. You go Nasus, you go Duskblade, you have 1,000 stacks, you bonk a squishy target, you're invisible. That's it. Enemy team is fucking paranoid, they're shitting bricks. They don't know what are you, and they know inevitable doom is coming after them. God, I feel like those were my most popular clips of Nasus with Duskblade. Yeah, that shit was cinema. Tell me what you want, that shit was real fucking cinema. The Hidden Oven Eve was peak 6 in Fire Capes. Yeah, because whenever you were dealing damage with some Fire Cape on Evelyn, you wouldn't leave your invisible passive. Remember Perma Invisible Teemo bug? Yeah, only few people know of it. I'm still surprised, but only a few people know of it, because when they released Duskblade, I was maining Teemo, and accidentally I discovered a bug where if you proc a Duskblade and your Teemo's invisibility passive, right? You become invisible for the rest of the game. Like, you can be standing right here, right in front of this Hecarim. You can be auto-attacking him. Hecarim will not see you, because you are effectively invisible. The only thing that can get you is AoE. Suppose Jace is shooting his Q through the gate acceleration with that AoE explosion. That's the only thing that can scratch you. Besides that, nothing can touch you. Oh, AoE, but Karthus ultimate and so on and so on. But, dog, that was amazing. You literally did the video on that. Yeah, I did, and that video got, I want to say, 1,000 views. So no one knew about it. In the grand scheme of things, no one knew about it.
Everfrost would give you an extra route. Gale Force would give dashes to champs that didn't have dashes.
Okay. One thing I will still bitch about was the Crown of the Shattered Queen. Mythic items, all good. The Crown of the Shattered Queen was ruining my fantasy of one-tapping the squishy mages. Because those guys were effectively getting the fucking bone plating. Even worse if they had bone plating in their runes. Oh, that was horrible. That was a bad day to be an assassin. That was a bad day to be a Rengar main. Wait, what? That was one of the first videos I saw of you. Yeah, but It was very niche. Somehow it didn't perform as well as it should have.
And Gourd Drinker would heal you for 1,000 health every fight. The game was so unbalanced back then that there were constant threads how the state of the game was just abysmal because it felt like one person could just single-handedly affect the entire outcome of the game just because of how broken the items they were building were. And so what did Riot do? They listened to their community. After 2 years, Riot Games said, you know what? We're sorry about the fact that mythic items even came in the first place, and as a result, we will remove them. And they did. Duskblade of Drakthar disappeared. Prowler's Claw disappeared. Everfrost gone. Gale Force, Thanos snapped away. Half of the mythic items that were in the game were completely removed, and the other half were just nerfed to a point where they couldn't even compare to their previous level of strength. And for a while, the community celebrated. The fact that nowadays
I have a boyfriend down. Nice, congrats. One question, does he play League of Legends? If he does, that's a red flag. You can find better one.
a Duskblade Rengar wouldn't be able to 1v5 your team, or a Red Cane with Gourd Drinker wouldn't be able to just out-heal all your damage.
Red Gourd Drinker King with Yumi on top of him was something straight up out of Lovecraftian horror story.
Or even the fact that a Jhin wouldn't be able to Gale Force.
No, he doesn't. I tried to make him play it, he hates it. So, maybe you are the red flag in the relationship. Just maybe.
Away from an Assault that would have surely killed him were things that the community was happy about. And to further drive home this ideal of everybody being in the state of balanced kumbaya, Riot then introduced new objectives. They introduced feats of strength, they introduced double sets of grubs, they introduced Herald Atacon on different timers, and they brought Baron to a 25-minute spawn time. And all of this was done in an effort to go away from what League of Legends had.
You know Rito is fucked from the core when Dantes' speech makes more sense than Rito's balanced champion design team. Yeah. Matter of fact, that is kinda scary, isn't it? When a content creator, infamous for his degenerate, psycho, schizo takes, is starting to make a lot of fucking sense when it comes down to this game.
Had previously known. Instead of being the game where one player could just completely take over and destroy everyone, League of Legends was going towards a game where now it would really play into the 5v5 strategy, which is what people thought they wanted. So the question now is, if Riot did everything that the community wanted, why is it that League of Legends has a record number of players leaving, and it seems like no one...
What are they pulling these shards? Mind you, no, I don't think these are either official. I feel like this is one of those third-party softwares, third-party websites that are estimating the actual numbers in League. I don't think these are right. I'm still going back to my sentence I said in my 1-hour video rant about League of Legends, where Rito did a smart move, a Blizzard move, a corporate greedy move, a very unethical move, one could say, where they removed the public stats. When the game is going into the decline, they remove the public stats. We have no fucking idea how many people are actually playing the game. So, we cannot even grasp what's the situation right now. The only way to check it is to actually log into the game, queue up for a match, and see how long is the queue timer. And average elo. And straight up average elo, average roll. Mid lane, as stated previously, is the most popular role. Has been since Season 3, still is because everyone wants to be the next faker. But suppose we're taking ADC. Suppose we're taking jungle, suppose we're taking topside. Because support is going to be the least popular role, so naturally the queue time is there going to be borderline way faster than any other lane. But if the queue time for a 5v5 in an average elo, I'm talking about silver, gold, plat, is going to be over 2-3 minutes, that's a bit of an indication that something is wrong with the game, because we're looking at 10 players. Total. 10 fucking players. Dog, I've been playing Marvel Rivals for a couple of weeks now, and a 6v6 and an average elo, to find the game takes me less than 30 seconds. So there's that. Unpopular opinion here, please don't ban me. Dog, we are not banning people for unpopular opinion. That's what we're all about. We're about unpopular opinions. We're about discussion, democracy. Plus, your unpopular opinion can be something that opens our eyes to some different perspective we haven't considered yet. Unpopular opinion here, please don't ban me. I don't dislike the current changes, I don't love them, but I still find ways to have fun in the game. Yeah, when it comes down to that objective, sure. Where there's a will, there's a way. If you're trying to look for fun in the current state of the game, sure, you can find it. But it's not going to be as easy to do so as it was previously.
No one is actually enjoying the game. The truth is simple. Because they didn't give players what they wanted. You see, the issue is that when League of Legends is in a balanced state where each individual player has an almost equal amount of impact on the game, irrespective of whether you're ahead or behind, then that is actually the time where the game will feel the most unfun. And the reason why is because we went from being a game that would celebrate the best player to being a game that rewards the worst player. When you remove skill expression from the game, and you remove solo carry potential from the game, which Riot has repeatedly done, not just through the removal of items or the introduction of the durability patch, but also with...
I thought I was the only one. I thought I was the madman. The only madman who was not amused with the durability patch. Bro, I said it before, I'll say it again. Rita... Well, not Rita. The game has been going downhill ever since the introduction of durability patch. Even though Rita tried backpedaling afterwards. I mean, you are a madman, but yeah. Sometimes even the madman can be right.
With the fact that junglers can't even solo half of the objectives anymore, then the game enters this weird limbo where now you need everybody on the same page. And the truth is that when you need everybody on the same page, especially in a game that is as fast-paced as League of Legends, you need voice communications. I've always said that even though each individual League game can last upwards of 30 minutes, the truth is that it is a game of seconds. It's about going in with your ult 2 seconds before the enemy does. It's about being able to collapse on an objective 5 seconds before the enemy.
Kinda scary how Dantes is making sense. Kinda scary, not gonna lie. Like, objectively, if you're looking at the games, I will use the example that I've been spending my time for the past couple of weeks. Marvel Rivals. Take high elo games. We're talking about Celestial, we're talking about Grandmaster, we're talking about One Above the All. The communication is fucking key. The communication is fucking key. When you need a perfect execution with the rest of your team, fastest way to do it is voice chat. That's the fastest way to do it. Sure, Rita is afraid of toxicity in the voice chat, even though Blizzard solved that issue fucking years ago with toxicity in the voice chat. The technology is there, and you cannot tell me that a billion-dollar conglomerate cannot afford to buy, lease out, rent, or fucking develop that technology. It's just simply not true, right? So, the issue remains, we need very fast communication. Voice chat, bad. Voice chat toxicity. Technology exists to prevent toxicity, but it doesn't matter. Rita is not going down that way. Second fastest, we have our pings. But, we had a snowflake working at Rita. I'm pretty sure we still have. Who got pinged bazillion times for playing Arthas ADC going 0 and 8. He got pinged. He got offended. He got triggered. Next day, the same fucking developer on Twitter posted, pings toxic, pings removed, get fucked. And then Rita did the fucking most beautiful thing they did. The same pattern that's going everywhere with Rita games is 3-step manipulation. Step 1, remove the thing totally. Step 2, outreach. Step 3, bring back the thing with adjustments you wanted in the first place. That way, you don't appear very bad because you brought it back, but you also win because you made the adjustments you wanted initially. Same goes for the chat, same goes for the old chat, same goes for the pings, same goes for Hextech chest. I'm just curious what's going to be next. At this point, what else can they take away? They will get outraged. Then they will bring him back with the adjustments they wanted in the first place. Is there anything else they can remove?
It's about getting that one word that gives you the vision that you need to get the pick before the objective that wins you the game. League of Legends is a game of seconds where every single decision is critical. And when you make it so that it is extremely team reliant,
they will take BMing. Matter of fact, they could. Yeah, easily. Easily.
But you don't give the teams the communication options that they need, then the only thing you're doing is you're ruining the game. Even though people used to complain back when Mythics were in the game, the truth is that they still played. And the reason why was because during your first game of the day, a Duskblade Rengar would one-shot your entire team in 1v9, but then during your second, you'd be Vayne with Kraken Slayer, and you would just crack the entire enemy's team head open. So even though you would have states where the enemy team would be able to completely 1v9 and you wouldn't be able to do anything.
That was always the argument. There was always a counterplay. This is the reason why I was a huge fan of Assassin meta. Sure, I can one-tap enemy squishies, but there was room for me to fuck up, and there was a room for enemy squishies to outplay the shit out of me. Dog, I'm pretty sure there was an instance when I was playing Rengar, I was one-tapping everyone, I got clapped by enemy Yumi. Because she fucking outplayed me. Then, Rita decided to move away from that, and they introduced tank meta. Where there was straight up, no outplay mechanic. The only win condition is that you play the tank. Like, there was no argument, no counters to tank. Straight up, the only counter to tank was your tank. And then, you go into a 2-hour long 1v1 in topside. Bro, there's nothing more boring than that.
You would also be able to do similar things like that to the enemy team as well. And it was chasing the dopamine of that high, of being able to truly impact the game in a way that no one else could, that made people want to play. Because if you were playing 10 games a day, even if you would have 2 or 3 of them where you were able to solo carry, that was enough to keep you queuing for the next week. Because you would want to get to a point where you could experience that high over and over and over again. But with League of Legends being in a balanced state, the issue that we now encounter is the fact that it doesn't feel like your performance matters as much. Instead of pressing tab and thinking about how ahead you are, you're thinking about how behind your team is. We went from being a solo carry oriented game to being a team game, but the team game fantasy is completely ruined because you can't even communicate with them. To give you an analogy, it's like you're stuck in a burning building. You're trapped with...
He's still making sense, by the way. He's still making sense. And here comes the most wild analogy ever.
4 other people, and God tells you that you can have 20 strength points. These points can be allocated however you wish, and when they're put on one person, that person has the capability to completely rip away all the debris, keeping everyone trapped inside, and render him able to actually save everyone's lives single-handedly. But then one day God tells you that each person can only have an allocated maximum of 7 strength points. So the issue is that now, one person cannot single-handedly rip away all the debris, and since everyone has earplugs in their ears, they can't even coordinate either. So instead of getting a scenario where you can actually work with 4 other people to escape the burning building, the only thing you're getting is less individual impact, and you just have to sit there and watch everyone burn alive in what otherwise should have been a scenario where you would have been able to save everyone's lives.
And ironically, this makes lots of sense. Not his wildest take, not his most degenerate take, but this shit makes perfect sense. Like, straight up, I fucking agree with that.
And now I know what you're probably thinking. You're probably thinking, but Dantes, how can something like that even be fixed? Should we just go back to the old Mythic system? Or what is the actual play? And to that, I tell you that there are 2 and only 2 answers.
1, go back to Mythics, go back to DFG, go back to Hex Stack Gunblade, where you actually bring back the 1v9 potential. 2, bring back the chat. Straight up, bring back the chat. Cherry on top, co-PM I'm reaching here, voice chat.
The first one is Riot reverts on what they've done. And with that, they would only have to make 2 changes. The first one would be the reversion of the durability patch.
Amen, brother. Amen.
And the second one would be the across-the-board nerfing of CC abilities and the buffing of tenacity. Part of the reason why League of Legends feels super unfun nowadays is because every single game plays out the same. You're gonna look at a team comp and you're gonna think, huh, they have tanky champions that will CC us until they die.
Yep, now that I think about it, and ironically, this is the number one thing I was every single time looking during the loading screen. Even in champ select. The first thing I would do is hover enemy over enemy champion, and I would call out the amounts of CC they have. Because that shit lasts for hours, plus tenacity ain't doing shit. Dog, I remember I was playing 85% tenacity into 2 CC champions. Dog, I couldn't move. We were straight up using this clip.
Mauricio, I can't move it anymore. Mauricio.
With 85% tenacity, I couldn't move.
And both teams will have this every single game. I started playing this game with my chat recently, where I asked them who's the squishy champion. And when I look at a Lulu at level 13 that has 2500 HP, and she's the squishiest member of her team, then the funniest part is that the game can't even exist. Because the truth is that nowadays, there are no squishy champs. There's no way for you to single-handedly kill people unless you have 20 kills, and so you're thrust into an environment where you're forced to work with your team, or else you just can't function. So Riot just has to decide.
Actually true. Don't believe him. Check out the win rate of the assassins. Like, assassins effectively don't exist in this game. That's it. Because every single time, you need someone to finish the job. Even though, as an assassin, you have a single job. Remove enemy squishy. 99% of the time, that's going to be enemy ADC, because that's who you want to focus. Maybe enemy squishy mage mid laner, or maybe enemy support, for example, Soraka, right? So someone in those lines. Someone who you can remove and effectively give your team the advantage that they need to win the team fight. Now, well, not even now, in the past couple of months, or even ever since durability patch, that became straight up fucking mission impossible. Dog, because you need someone to finish your job for you. You go win as Rengar, you're jumping on Lulu. There's a high chance, very high chance, Lulu will survive. Even worse, she will kite you and she will kill you. Which means you need a second assassin to do the job of one assassin.
Do they want League of Legends to go down the solo carry route and remove the durability patch and actually reintroduce solo carry facilitators back into the game? Or do they want to go down the team route? And for the team route, the only thing they would have to do is introduce voice comms. And now I know what people are...
Voice comms, sure, because as we mentioned before, the technology exists to monitor voice comms and to punish those who are abusing them. I'm not saying those who are calling me dog shit when I'm going 0-10. I'm talking about those who are straight up crossing the line. You know who am I talking about. Like, there are certain lines in communication you do not fucking cross because that is just straight up degenerate.
Are gonna say, but Dantes, League of Legends is toxic. Sure, but it doesn't have to be. If you lock voice comms for players that are only above honor level 4 and you enforce strict moderation for the voice comms, then even the most diehard of ranked players will want to be at least somewhat bearable because they'll want...
Sure, but that would require some extra adjustments. Number one would be the removal of cringe chat restrictions overall. Straight up overall, because in my 1 hour rant of League of Legends video, I had a comment saying that he called someone a midget. My guy was honor level 4 or maybe honor level 5. He called someone small, some made up fantasy character. He called him a dwarf. Next day, my guy got instantly a chat restriction. Honor level 0. He submitted a ticket saying this must be a mistake, right? Rita said, no, you toxic, go fuck yourself. That's it.
To be able to communicate with their team so that they can actually win games. Riot would just have to enforce a stricter punishment system and then actually reward honorable behavior, and it would allow voice comms to flourish in this community.
True, but they would also need to make a clear line of what's toxic and what's not toxic. Because right now, the line is blurred. Objectively speaking, you can see something that's not very out of line, but you will get chat restricted without any reason. Well, technically the reason is that in Rito's mind, in Rito's snowflake mind, you're being very toxic. When objectively, you're not.
And that right now is the problem with League of Legends. It's the fact that Riot has taken this haphazard stance where they're exploring two different routes that are so astronomically different from one another that it ends up creating this monster that no one finds enjoyment from. By trying to satisfy both communities of people, Riot actually ends up satisfying none of them.
Yep.
And that's the reason why when you look at analytics nowadays, the League of Legends player base has been on a downwards trend ever.
What are these stats? No shot, these are official stats. The trajectory is right, but officially, I want to say it's even more drastic than that. It's even more drastic than that. This feels very natural. Even though Rito has been doing unnatural things to the game.
Since the removal of Mythics. The truth is that it's not a game balance issue that League of Legends has right now. It's a direction issue. The upper management just needs to decide what they actually envision for League of Legends' future. If they want it to be a team-oriented 5v5 style game, then introduce voice comms. And if voice comms are so out of the question that you would never even think about bringing them in, then bring back solo carrying. But with what we have right now, it just feels extremely stale, unfun, and hard to play this game. When players like myself or Tyler 1, who are people that used to be able to queue League of Legends for 12 hours without even looking at the clock back in the day, are now barely able to even play it for a day before we get bored or tired, then you know there's an issue with the game. Anyways, you guys can let me know in the comment section below if you agree, if you have any changes that you'd like to even see. But without giving too much hopium to you guys, I know that there are some content creators that are currently having discussions with Riot. So just know that feedback now more than ever means the world. So if you support the things I've been saying, let me know. If you disagree, also let me know. And if you have ideas of your own, then be sure to leave them down below. But
let's see what the ideas are. 5v5 strategy game is not something that can exist in solo queue. That's why it's turbo on fun. Bro. Riot, we want a team game. Meanwhile, also Riot, let's chat restrict on people for weeks. Let's restrict things and let's not introduce voice chat. This is exactly what Riot is doing. The icing on the cake is that you overly strict chat moderation. Communication is highly disincentivized. Most games people are just robots that hardly talk, either because they are chat banned or because they're afraid to be. True.